Hello, welcome back. Several years ago I had the chance to cook with a lady who lived near Parma, famous for its ham and its Parmesan cheese. We spent a couple of hours working in her outdoor kitchen and produced pasta as well as other dishes specific to Emilia-Romagna. And one of them was her version of Ragu, and that's what we would often call Bolognese. But the sauce from Bologna is really quite different from the one that we made that day. The Bologna sauce is more tomatoey and it's thicker. This one is thinner and it's meatier. So see what you think about it. We call it slow bowl in our house because it's cooked slowly. So I've got a packet which was 400 grams of beef mince. I've also got pork mince and that was 500 grams. And I've got a sofrito, and sofrito is a tiny chopped up carrot, or a carrot that's chopped into tiny pieces. And then tiny pieces of celery and very small pieces of onion. And those all get cooked together in a frying pan, and mine is quite deep. Now if you haven't got a deep frying pan, you can use a shallow one and then put all of the fried ingredients into a saucepan and carry on in a saucepan. But I'm simply going to put them all in. But what I'm going to do first is cut this up, because you can see that it's extruded into great long, I hesitate to call them worms, but they're very long, narrow pieces. So I want to just get them cut before they go in the pan, and then they cook more evenly. So that's my cooked beef, cut beef and pork. It's going in the pan with no fat, because obviously there's going to be plenty coming out of here. They go in together along with the vegetables. You can see how small they are. And we'll go over and get those starting to cook. Now this is going to take a while, and the idea is that as you start to fry the meat, the juices come out of it and the vegetables begin to soften, and they give off their flavour when they are just warmed in this way. So you get more of a celery flavour and a carroty flavour. You don't want great big chunks though, so it's important to cut them as small as you can. It is possible to use a third type of meat, and that would be veal. It's quite difficult to get hold of veal mince in this country though, so it's enough just to have beef and pork. This will make quite a lot of sauce, but it freezes really well, so it's worth making a large batch and then putting into containers and putting it into the freezer so you've got some for another day. So if your pan isn't as big as this, you can fry the beef first and put it into a larger saucepan, and then fry the pork with the sofrito and then add that to the bigger saucepan and carry on with everything in the large pan. And you will need a lid. You're aiming to get rid of all the pink colour from the beef, and you'll see that there's quite a lot of liquid that forms in the bottom of the pan. You also want to get that to evaporate. So this is going to take probably anything up to about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes perhaps. Depends on your meat, it's very difficult to be precise. You can see there's quite a lot of liquid here that's come out of the meat, and I want to keep that really boiling well so that it evaporates off. If you were in a tearing hurry, you could actually scoop that out, but this isn't really a dish to rush. Right, we're ready. This has taken, well, a good 15 minutes I think probably, and there's very little juice now when I tip the pan, so we can move on to the other ingredients. And the first thing that goes in now is a glass of red wine. The if you wouldn't drink it, don't cook with it, okay? It's got to be decent red wine. And it goes. Let that boil to boil off the alcohol, which won't take long. That's sizzling nicely. Now we can add a tin of tomatoes, chopped tomatoes, and if I were you, I would rinse the can with cold water just to get the rest out of there. If you've got any tomatoes from the garden that you want to use, then you can put one of those in. I've got a marmande, I've taken out the stem, but drop those in. They can be quite big because it's going to cook for a long time, and then the skins will rise off and you can get the tomato skins out. So a tin of cold water to rinse the can. Give it a stir. And then I'm going to put in a bouquet garni. If you've got fresh herbs, that's lovely. You can make a bundle with rosemary and thyme, whatever else you've got, some oregano. I'm just going to drop in what looks like a tea bag, but it's bouquet garni. Remember to take that out at the end. And then I want this to come to the boil, and I'm actually going to add some more boiling water to this because it is quite wet and you need all of the meat to be covered in water. It's not too bad, it's quite juicy. So I think I'll just put a little bit of boiling water in there. So all the meat is covered. And the last thing to go in is a beef stock cube, simply to help the flavour. So break it up and drop it in and it will dissolve all on its own. We've got a good boil. So all we do now is turn it down to simmer with a lid on and set your timer for 40 minutes. Stir it occasionally as you go by, and after 40 minutes it will be, that is the minimum. If you can give it an hour, that's even better. But between 40 minutes and an hour and you will have your ragu, your version from Emilia-Romagna. Okay, timer on. So our ragu has had 45 minutes, and during that time I managed to fish out the skins of the tomato, and I really do need to take out the bouquet garni as well. There we are. I'm going to turn it off. And it's ready to serve with a pasta of your choice. Traditionally that would be tagliatelle, a flat pasta, but it's entirely up to you how you serve it. And anything that's left over, freeze it, because it's really, really good, and it's useful to have something like this ready to use another day. So, hope you like it. Enjoy.